Welcome to my March wrap up. I don't know about you, but I am so glad that March is over. I just hate that month. There's no holidays off from work. It's just like gloomy and dreary and it's just gross. I just don't like anything about it. I'm good. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I do like St. Patty's Day. We celebrate that pretty big in this house, so that's always a good one. But I want to go over the March reads that I did and some things that I've been focusing on. And then we're going to talk about getting into April, which we are in currently, but it's still early on, so I figured I still wanted to make this video. All right, so for March, I read 6 books, which I actually thought it was more, but that's okay. I have a high goal this month of April, and so we're going to focus on that this month. The first book we're going to jump off with is The Block Party. I chose this book based on the fact that my neighborhood, we love to have block parties, and so I was like, oh, this would be pretty cool, and it was a thriller, so I had to, of course, go with that. I really did enjoy this one. It wasn't really about a block party for the majority of the book. It had like the references of it, but it's okay. The block party was still good. There was a lot of people and characters to get to know. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily confusing, but if you don't really like to have like too many characters, then that might not be for you. But it did still have some good twists and some things that like I didn't exactly predict. So I did enjoy that. I don't know about the star rating. I'm not really great about the star ratings. I just like to say whether I like the book or not, or I'd recommend it. I don't know. I'm just not like huge on star ratings, but would I recommend it to somebody? Yeah, I would. I also read Just the Nicest Couple. Now, this book I really did enjoy, although I feel like it was like a slow burn. Like, so there was a lot of like getting to know what was going on first before you actually like find out what's going on. However, I did really enjoy the ending. I thought it was great. And so that was pretty cool. I always enjoy a good one. And this is by Mary Kibuka, who I've read several books from her before. I would definitely recommend this one. This next one was a recommendation from a close friend of mine. It's called The Truths I Never Told You by Kelly Rimmer. And this is not a thriller. This is more like contemporary women's fiction. And it was so great of a story. I am somebody who suffers from depression, anxiety, and definitely postpartum depression. And I didn't like necessarily deal with it in the best ways. Like I didn't really tell anybody. I kind of kept it to myself. And in this story, it's like almost maybe even historical fiction because it's going back in the past. This story is like about the past and how like women just weren't able to deal with that. And, you know, they were more like, hey, you're a stay-at-home mom no matter what. And your job is to have kids and that's like what you're made to do. And postpartum depression, like that's not even something that you're like allowed to talk about. And like there was no birth control options and things like that. So there's a lot of heavy subjects that are going on. It makes you think a lot, and it makes you, if you're a mom or know a mom or have a friend who has a mom, like anyone that has a mom in their life, it kind of gives you a second view of like what moms go through. And not even like, I can't even relate to everything because I do have options to birth control. And my husband understands that I'm not just a baby maker and that's not just my job. So like, those kinds of things, it made me open my eyes and be like, wow, I can't even imagine not having those options or being viewed that way. And I still struggled so much. So I just feel like it's a great eye-opener for anybody, really. And it just gives you like a second look at things and to understand that like, yes, we can still be moms, but like that's not our only identity. And also the changes in your body that happen, regardless if you know about them or not, the hormonal changes, the physical changes, just everything about motherhood can be very difficult. And it's not that like we need to have our own like pity party or whatever, but it's nice if people could recognize that and understand that motherhood is like a whole extra length of life. And it is a big deal. And I wish that more people maybe would recognize that just in everyday society. Enough off my soapbox, right? The next one is called The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. I really decided that I liked B.A. Paris. I can't remember the other book I read from her, but I don't actually know if it's a her or him. I should look that up. But I did decide I wanted to read B.A. Paris's catalog because I'm enjoying the book so much. So this one's The Breakdown. I really enjoyed this one a lot. It was definitely like psychological thriller. Like there's a lot going on. And I feel like you just get really close to the main character and you feel for her. There's definitely frustrating parts where you're like, like, why aren't you doing this? But like not so frustrating that you wouldn't want to read it. So I really, really did enjoy that one. And so I definitely would recommend that. This next one I bought based on the cover. And what do they say, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. But I was like, this cover is so great. So I definitely want to read it. It's not that it was a bad book. It's just not for me because I'm more of a like thriller reader, psychological thriller, or romance. I know people are like, those are like total opposites, but that's probably on purpose because I do like a good palate cleanser. So I love the thrillers and all that stuff, psychological thrillers. But then I also love like the romance and like having that kind of stuff in your life. But this particular book, Voices in the Snow, is a horror fiction. And I didn't realize that. I didn't look because I don't even like to read the back of books sometimes. I just like to go in blind. But it has taught me now that I should look at least at the genre. Horror is just not for me. This book had, I actually will say the character building and the characters in the story, I felt really close to and I still think about actually. So I really did like that piece of it because I felt like I was there with them and understanding. But then the premise of the book was like creatures and like more, what do I want to say? Like sci-fi kind of thing. And that's just not my thing. So it's not that somebody who would enjoy those things, I think you would love this book. It was great in that aspect because I still enjoyed it, even though those are not my particular, ingredients in a story that I like, but I still finished it. Like I don't DNF books. It's just not my thing. I have to really, really be like, I don't want to read this book for me to drop it. So I did still finish it. I think it was, if somebody's like a horror person, you'll really like it and enjoy it. It still finished it because it wasn't like, if it was gruesome and gory and bloody, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. I don't stomach those kind of things very well, but moving on to the next B.A. Paris book I read was The Guest. I really enjoyed this one. I really thought this was done well. Definitely some twists and turns in this one. I really enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely recommend. And so I'm really excited to go back into the B.A. Paris catalog and get another audiobook going because actually I don't have an audiobook right now going. And so I might do that. But let's go into now, that was my wrap up of March, personal goals and things like that. Really, really wanting to write a third book. And I have a couple of starters actually. So I have a fiction book started that I really want to do, but I'm also thinking maybe I should write more, another like nonfiction book. I'm kind of stuck. And either way, I can work on both. I just haven't really been writing at all. And I don't know what's holding me back. I need to get back into that mind frame, or at least setting a time aside to be like, all right, I'm going to write for even 30 minutes. So for me personally, that's a goal that I'm working on, because if you don't do the exercise, you're not going to see the outcome, right? So just basics here. But currently, back to books for a minute. I'm currently reading this book called Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. So I think this is a series. I want to say there's at least 3 books out right now. And I was starting to read the second and somebody told me, oh, wait, no, you should read this one. You should read this one first because this one, if you don't read this one first, it will ruin it for the second. So I went to this one. I've got to say, if I knew what this book was about, I'm not sure I would have started it and read it. It's definitely triggering. So definitely don't go into this one blind. I think that if you have triggers or you have a past of any kind of abuse, then you might not want to read this, or at least know what you're getting yourself into, because I have to say this is kind of hard for me to read, and I didn't enjoy the parts of it. But again, it takes a lot for me to DNF a book. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to power through and read it and get through it. But this one's hard. This one is hard. So I don't know if the next one's going to be like that or not. So I'm kind of debating whether I want to read it. I think I'm going to have to read the back and kind of get an idea of, what it's going to be about. 'Cause I don't know if I can handle another, scene. But yeah, just always, I think that's where I have to start learning to, like, read the backs of the book or get a good idea of, like, what the book's about before you go into it. Because sometimes you come across something like this and you're like, oh my God, I'm not ready to read this, or maybe I shouldn't be reading this. But you have to do what's comfortable for you, right? Like, I pushed through because I felt like that's something that I could do and I wanted to do. But for someone, they might be like, oh my God, I need to put this down right away. And, like, no judgment. You have to do what's good for you. And I just feel like you can't listen to anyone else. Like, it's nice to get ideas from other people and do their thing. But at the end of the day, like, you only need to worry about yourself, right? Like, we don't need to be worrying about nobody else. So just keep that in your head always. If you have any questions, I'm pretty much an open book. So definitely comment down below. Ask me any questions. Give me book recommendations. Or tell me if you've read any of these books. I'd love to hear what you thought of them. And yeah, stay tuned for more information like that and how I can serve you in this online community that we're in together. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.